Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. RHOC Gina accuses Alexis Bellino of staging scenes. RHOC star Gina is accusing returning cast member Alexis Bellino of staging scenes for season 18. Bellino made her big comeback after it was revealed that she was dating Shannon Beater's ex, John Jansen. Though she is friends with some of the ladies, Gina feels some of her moments are not genuine. Keep reading for more details as to why Gina thinks this. Season 17 showed the demise of Shannon Beater and John Jansen's relationship. They had been together for a handful of years, but they were struggling a lot. He was very private and did not want her to air their dirty laundry. Unfortunately, she would get inebriated and then call her co-stars to vent, but forget that she had done this. It ultimately became a problem, and the two did end things, but she maintains they tried to reconcile. In September 2023, Shannon was arrested for a DUI hit and run, and John was there for a short time by her side. He then wanted nothing to do with her, and by November, was dating Alexis Bellino. Alexis was a housewife on RHOC from seasons 5 through 8. Had been married with 3 kids, divorced, engaged, called that off, and now was promised to John. She was also very friendly with Tamra Judge and Heather Dubrow, so she was welcomed back for season 18. In the season premiere, Shannon wanted to chat with Alexis, but their co-star, Gina believes there were staged elements. According to All About the Tea, Gina pointed to one particular moment that seemed rehearsed. Heather Dubrow had thrown a party to get all of the women together. Alexis Bellino was in attendance as she and Heather are close. Shannon arrived last and eventually, the two went outside to speak. They went back and forth between Alexis dating John Jansen and Shannon being sued by Jim Bellino. Then Alexis said, "There's the door, Shannon Beater." To Gina, that was not an organic reaction. She clearly practiced all that in the mirror before. And that, to me, even feels like you're not giving it a real fair chance. Like you clearly didn't just think up, "There's the door, Shannon Beater," on the fly. The whole thing just feels very calculated to me, honestly. Gina does not believe that Alexis Bellino really wanted to make amends with Shannon Beater. Additionally, she noted how Alexis thinks Shannon is obsessed with John's new relationship. In Gina's opinion, that is not the case at all. The problem was that every time Alexis would come to anything, she would start in with this narrative that Shannon just has to stop talking about them, and we're like, Shannon is not. She is like actively trying to not talk about you. Like that is her least favorite topic to talk about. More so, Gina added that Shannon is focused on her own well-being and not the activities of John and Alexis. Though she does seem to know what they are up to and where they are going quite frequently. Luckily, Shannon has apologized to Gina after making some false and unkind comments about her last season. This has helped bring them closer together. Now they can move on, but with Shannon and Alexis on the same show, things will not be easy. Do you think Alexis comes in with her jabs memorized prior to seeing Shannon? Let us know and watch RHOC Thursdays on Bravo. In the glittering world of the Real Housewives of Orange County, RHOC, where glamorous escapades and fiery confrontations are the order of the day, accusations often fly as swiftly as champagne corks. This time, the spotlight is on Gina who recently set the gossip mill ablaze with claims that former cast member Alexis Bellino staged scenes to elevate her storyline. It all began innocently enough. During a recent cast gathering, Gina and the current housewives were chatting about some of the show's most memorable moments. A lively conversation filled with laughter and eye rolls as they rehashed old controversies. But when Alexis Bellino's name came up, Gina's expression changed. With a mischievous smirk, she leaned forward, lowered her voice slightly, and began recounting some of the suspiciously dramatic scenes from Alexis's seasons, all while casting a knowing glance at her castmates. The room buzzed with tension as Gina hinted that Alexis might have orchestrated certain events for the sake of staying relevant on the show. "Come on, let's be real," Gina laughed, waving a manicured hand dismissively. "Some of those scenes were too good to be true. Do we really believe she just happened to find herself in those over-the-top situations?" She then went on to suggest that Alexis had carefully crafted her image as the perfect housewife, only for cracks in the facade to reveal just how much of it might have been strategic, if not outright staged. The current housewives were both amused and intrigued, with some nodding in agreement and others raising skeptical eyebrows. Emily Simpson, always one for the juicy gossip, immediately perked up, asking, "Do you mean she actually planned some of those meltdowns?" Emily's question was met with Gina's enthusiastic nod. "Oh, absolutely," Gina replied. Alexis had this way of knowing exactly when to bring out the waterworks, or when to deliver that one-liner that would get people talking. I mean, there were times when the cameras would magically capture her right as she got into an argument with someone or had a dramatic revelation. It's almost like she had her own director's script going on the side. Gina continued, explaining that she'd heard from reliable sources that Alexis was keenly aware of the show's demands and might have manipulated certain moments to keep herself front and center. For example, during Alexis's infamous season when her marriage to Jim Bellino was on the rocks, some of her co-stars felt that Alexis may have exaggerated her struggles for the cameras. Everyone knows the marriage was rocky, but Alexis made it seem like it was this epic, tragic story, Gina said, almost rolling her eyes. Like she wanted to be a soap opera star or something. With every word, Gina added layers to the tale, painting Alexis as a skilled scene stager who had mastered the art of calculated vulnerability. Tamra Judge, a RHOC veteran who shared the screen with Alexis during some of her seasons, later commented in a confessional that she wasn't totally surprised by Gina's accusations. Alexis did have a way of, dramatizing things, Tamra shrugged. But hey, we all do it sometimes. This show is about giving people something to watch. Despite Tamra's blasé response, not everyone was willing to let Gina's comments slide without scrutiny. Heather Dubrow, who is known for her refined approach to RHOC drama, found herself conflicted. "I've always believed in being genuine on the show," Heather mused in her confessional. "So if Alexis was faking scenes, that's disappointing." But she admitted that Alexis wasn't alone in enhancing storylines, acknowledging that reality TV can sometimes blur the lines between authenticity and performance. As the episode continued, Gina's comments stirred up even more drama on social media, where fans quickly took to debating whether Alexis' actions were a betrayal of the show's premise or just smart strategy. Some fans argued that Gina's claims were an unfair attack on a former cast member, while others agreed, pointing to moments where Alexis's scenes seemed too scripted to be real. Eventually, Alexis herself caught wind of Gina's accusations and was less than pleased. Taking to her Instagram, Alexis posted a lengthy rebuttal, denying any accusations of staging scenes and defending her time on RHOC. "For the record, I have always been true to myself and authentic with my fans," she wrote, expressing disappointment that some of her former castmates would paint her in such a manipulative light. "Reality TV is intense and brings out a lot of emotions, but everything I shared was real. My marriage struggles, my friendships, my growth, it all happened. And honestly, I'm proud of my journey. In her post, Alexis also hinted that Gina's claims might be an attempt to create her own storyline, subtly turning the tables on Gina. Sometimes people project onto others to deflect from their own issues, Alexis concluded, adding a winking emoji at the end of her post. This thinly veiled jab did not go unnoticed, and within hours, Gina fired back in her Instagram stories, asserting that she was only speaking the truth. "Look, it's not about tearing people down," Gina said in her story, a calm but determined tone in her voice. "But if you're going to be on a reality show, people have a right to know what's real and what's, carefully curated." She ended with a shrug, letting her followers draw their own conclusions. The back and forth between Gina and Alexis quickly became one of the most talked about topics in RHOC circles, sparking endless memes, opinion pieces, and fan theories. The Bravo network, always keen on capitalizing on drama, subtly encouraged the conversation by promoting the upcoming reunion episode where, rumor has it, Alexis might make a surprise appearance to confront Gina directly. Meanwhile, the rest of the RHOC cast looked on, amused and perhaps a bit relieved that, for once, the drama didn't directly involve them. Shannon Beater joked to a producer during a scene that the Gina versus Alexis showdown could be the next great feud. "You can't write this stuff," Shannon quipped, laughing. But her joke held a kernel of truth. Whether Alexis staged her scenes or not, her storyline had managed to leave a lasting impression, blurring the boundaries between scripted television and reality. In the weeks that followed, fans eagerly speculated on what would come next. Some even wondered if Alexis would consider returning to RHOC in an official capacity to settle the score once and for all. After all, if she was willing to show up to face Gina on the reunion, perhaps she was ready for a more permanent comeback. Whether or not Alexis's past scenes were staged, Gina's revelations added a new layer to the ongoing conversation about authenticity in reality TV. And as Bravo watchers know, RHOC has always thrived in the tension between reality and performance, with each housewife walking that fine line in her own way. For now, Gina's comments have given fans something new to analyze and debate, while Alexis' reputation as a housewife remains tantalizingly open to interpretation.